The news now, guns on campus, districts on lockdowns. Over the past 4 years, WKYT has reported on numerous incidents of guns making their way into Fayette County Public Schools.
It's really not an if anymore, it's a when. You just hope that you're prepared enough to mitigate the severity of it.
Fayette County school leaders say the safety of students is paramount for bringing children back to class this month. Tonight, WKYT Samantha Valentino is looking into how often students are bringing guns onto FCPS property in part 1 of this WKYT Investigates.
We filed an open records request for all reports of weapons on FCPS campuses from the start of 2020 through March 29th of this year. We received just shy of 80 records. They detail incidents involving 16 guns on school campuses. 7 incidents happened in the past year and a half. In some cases, district leaders weren't aware a gun was on school grounds until hours or even days later. In November, multiple students at Crawford Middle School reported seeing another student with a gun in the building. Police records detailed their reports. One said the student threatened her with the gun after refusing to hug him. She says the boy told her, quote, "I should really shoot you." According to police records, the district didn't know about the gun being brought into the school until the next day. A photo of a student posing with a gun in a Henry Clay High School bathroom was sent to the district's stop tip line in February. Records say that tip came in after 4 p.m. when students had already been dismissed for the day. A similar incident was reported at Lafayette High School less than a month later. In March, police received a photo of a student sitting in a classroom holding a gun in one hand and a loaded magazine in the other. Police reports say the student was searched the day before after a staff member said he, quote, "brings a weapon to school every day." The report says the student brought a gun to school in his backpack and through metal detectors the day after being searched. The district wasn't aware he had brought the gun to school until 2 days later.
The problem usually occurs when we hear about it, but there's a lot of times we don't hear about stuff.
Jason Ruthermond is a retired special operations sergeant with the Lexington Police Department. He says school safety is a multifaceted issue, but communication plays a large part in keeping everyone safe. Oftentimes, students are the best source of information regarding potential threats.
I always say it starts from the bottom up, but it is a two-way street. Kids and employees have to feel safe when they report an incident. And I think that it is imperative.
Ruthermond says right after a safety incident, immediate communication between district leaders and parents is key.
I think that while we're trying to figure out, certain things with school safety, it doesn't necessarily negate the fact that we have to be very open in communication with these incidents.
Data from the Kentucky Department of Education shows Fayette County isn't alone when it comes to weapons in schools. According to the state, there were 1,350 behavior events involving guns or deadly weapons during the 2022-2023 school year. Throughout the school year, KDE says 62 handguns, 101 other firearms, and 5 rifles were reported at schools across the state. According to records obtained by WKYT, 8 guns were reported on FCPS campuses during that year.
Well, the district implemented a safety plan back in 2018. The increase on property tax bills that year helped pay for metal detectors in high schools. Coming up tonight at 6, we're going to take a closer look at the effectiveness of those metal detectors.